What is happening here in Canada? And what is the convoy for freedom? Well, I'm going to take you through my journey in the past few days and tell you what I've learned, experienced, what I've seen, and the horrible things that I hear that cannot be proven. There are people standing behind their religious beliefs, knowing that this is wrong and standing up for it. You have children that are confused and scared and just want to see their friends again and their families, and most importantly, go back to school. Many have chosen to see beyond the narrative of the mainstream media, which is absolute fear. Okay? This has got to come to an end. Yes, there is a lot of anger out there. There is no doubt about that. But this is piling up and getting worse and worse and worse. And we have to vent it out and we have to deal with it. Freedom is being you without anyone's permission. Are you kidding me? Like, did somebody actually have to write that down? Like, this is insane, people. Like, it's just... It's become a communist... this is like a communist country right now. Now, this police officer off to the right-hand side actually popped his lights on for us in support. And you have this officer here that a few people got trapped in the center medium as traffic was coming by, and she stopped the traffic in order for them to come back to the sidewalk safely. That police officer did not by any means have to do any such thing. And still, she did it. Because she did not lose her humanity. She understands and she knows. Now, yeah, there's a few trucks here. But this is only the tip of the spear. This is barely much of anything. This is just that entry show that you see before a big game or something. Like, this is not the halftime show. It's not the funny commercials. This is just the intro. Like, this is nothing. And at this point here, I've been outside for a long time. I did go indoors for an hour to have a cup of coffee. But other than that, I was outdoors from 6 a.m. till, I think about 3:15 p.m. And this right here is, it's roughly, let's say, noon. And yes, the whole morning I was there for nothing. That's why I went indoors somewhere for a few cups of coffee. Because, you know, at minus 23, it's cold out. And I'm saying minus 23 Celsius. Now, for my American brethren, that would be minus 4 Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's pretty chilly. And, yeah, so being out there for that long, you'll notice at some point I kind of start losing feeling in my hands and whatnot. But this is not a crime. This is nothing hateful. This is just patriotism. This is Canadians believing in their right to choose. They don't want $1 million each. They don't want a new car. They don't want you to build them a deck in their backyards. And they sure as hell don't want a brand new canoe. They just want the right to choose. Now, the Liberal government, under Justin Trudeau's rule, has used the pandemic to divide the people and pretty much lock them up indoors for a good majority of it. They have removed our rights, or slowly degrading our Charter of Rights, and he just publicly and knowingly admits to it and does not care one bit. And he says he can and he will. He will fundamentally undermine our rights as Canadian citizens. How is the government allowed to do that? That charter was written so that the people can have control over the government, not the government have control over the people. So in order for them to have inserted that loophole, goes to show you they never wanted you to be free to begin with. It all started with an illusion. And now the illusion, the bubble has popped, we can see it, and we will not stand for it. We went from being Canadians with multiple rights to being literally enslaved within our own country. And when we start getting rules like, not that I'm picking on my American brethren or anything like that, not to say I have nothing good to say about your government either, but as far as individuals themselves, they are allowed to come in, or were for a long time allowed to come into our country unvaccinated, no regulations to them, like they didn't have to hide themselves away and for 2 weeks to make sure they weren't sick or anything like that. They didn't have to. But yet if a Canadian came back across the border, they would be subject to a test and mandatory 2-week isolation. It's our own country, and you're forcing us into things that people from other countries coming in don't have to adhere. It makes no sense at all. He does not care anything about Canadians. He fell so close to the tree when he was born. It's unbelievable, because I'll tell you something right now, that lad Justin Trudeau is so much like his father. It's unbelievable. And when I mean so much, I mean it looks just like him, acts like him. The only thing is, does not have his accent because he was not raised by him. Oh, did you guys think I was talking about Pierre Elliott Trudeau? That's funny. Now, I'm not referring to Pierre Elliott Trudeau. Oh, no. A lot of people are misguided by who his father really is. Long time ago, Mr. Pierre Elliott Trudeau was having a very hard time with his wife, Margaret. I believe it's Margaret. And I'll tell you right now, she had left the country and went to South America for almost 3 months straight because they were fighting, and she wanted to be away from him and be surrounded by friends. That friend happened to be Fidel Castro. Yeah, that's right, Fidel Castro. And upon coming back home with Mr. Pierre Elliott Trudeau, she somehow got pregnant or had a baby within a year. My apologies. And I can't help but wonder, why does Mr. Trudeau not look anything like his dad, absolutely nothing like his mom, and is nothing more than a mirror image of Fidel Castro himself, one of the greatest communists to ever live? Did you guys see that last picture? You're going to tell me that is not his son? Like, come on, guys. We're not talking about somebody who looks like somebody. We're talking about somebody who was conceived while those two people were together. Just think of that. Just think of that. Our liberal government is being led by a dictator's child. Not that he would necessarily become a dictator, but he sure as hell removed plenty of our rights, hasn't he not? Yes, he has. Another great little thing about Mr. Trudeau too is the allegations. Not just the allegations, but actual scandals that he's been involved in. And let's see, one of them is on April 30th, 2019, it surfaced that the SNC-Lavalin made illegal donations to the Federal Liberal Party for the period of 5 years ending in 2009. The Liberals received the information in 2016 and did not make it public for 3 years. Employees made contributions totaling over $110,000 to the party, which later reimbursed them. Actions were prohibited, and for this one exclusive was charged, and a compliance agreement was signed to the company to not break the rules again in the future. By contrast, the former Conservative MP, Dean Del Mastro, however you say that, was charged with breaking election spending violations where he paid employees of his brother's company for $21,000 for campaign contributions in the 2008 election. For this, he was charged, convicted, and sentenced in 1 month in prison. Many countries, that would be a death sentence, if not a life sentence. But, here, at least he did a good 12 months, and reality was actually 4. But no point in getting into too big of details, right? Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was found to have broken multiple corruption laws for accepting a 2016 Christmas vacation on the Aga Khan's private island. The ruling made Trudeau the first Prime Minister in Canadian history to break federal ethics laws. A conflict of interest, and Ethics Commissioner Mario Dion investigations alleged that the Prime Minister's office interfered with the Justice Department's probes of Quebec's construction giant SNC-Lavalin by pursuing former Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould to consider a deferred prosecution agreement. Wilson-Raybould, who was then the Minister of Veteran Affairs, resigned from Trudeau's office. She was the Attorney General at the time of the alleged interference. He stopped her from doing her job, literally. General Butts, the principal secretary to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, categorically denied the accusations and resigned. Jane Philpott, one of Justin Trudeau's most trusted ministers, resigned as the president of the Treasury Board. The Ethics Commissioner ruled in 2019 that the Prime Minister's team had breached ethic rules and that Trudeau and his officials had tried in 2018 to undermine a decision by federal prosecution. To mess with the federal prosecutors like that, to some places, that's a death penalty. But hang on, let's check this one. Oh, and now let's not forget the coup de grace. The We charity from 2020. Man, I don't really want to get into too much details with that because that one is very, very disgustingly complex. It's its own creature within. It's absolutely, it's heartbreaking, and it shouldn't have happened. But the only thing that I feel bad about that, on behalf of the Trudeau family, is that it was his mom, Margaret Trudeau, that ended up taking a lot of the hit for that, for something her son did. But other people's kids, right? So anyway. And so I asked my brethren from across the planet, ocean to ocean, landmass to landmass, it's time we all stand strong together. It's time to end the tyranny of the great corporation-ran governments. It's time to take back our governments, border to border, ocean to ocean, landmass to landmass. I wish you all very well. The world unite and stand against oppression. And remember, as long as one Canadian is alive on this earth, no one in any nation on this planet is ever, ever alone, and never will be. Ever.
I know this place is where I am. No other place is better than. No matter where I go, I am proud to be Canadian. I
We are Canadians, and we will prevail.